Hello, hello, and welcome to the podcast, Brad. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, we just had a lot of technical issues, but that is how things happen sometimes.
Yeah, it's
Ah,
normal.
yeah. I'm really sorry about that.
Not good.
Absolutely
I'm used
my
to
fault. Are you? No. Why is it that you have some like technical stuff? Are you just learning how to use this now? Like the new equipment?
it. Yep, and it is related to what my whole life purpose, my sole purpose, I've heard it called, relates to.
Hmm.
So there's a literal aspect here that podcasting is my thing I should be doing on the earth.
Mm,
And fortunately, I have some cool things to talk about and share and inspire with. So it's kind of a
cool.
literal thing going on with all this electronic stuff. It's my number one favorite stuff.
Very cool. So tell me, how's your day been, Brad?
Been good. I got off work last night, got home about 6:30. Finally got some sleep. Have the day off today.
Okay.
Excited to
What
do
kind
that.
of job are you doing?
I work at a gold mine doing process machinery maintenance. So I'm at a
Wow.
mill, which is really complicated, but they take all the dirt they dig up from the ground, the ore, and they process it through this mill to separate the gold from the ore, actually to make it fine enough to do that. So we see dust and mud, and they tell us there's gold in it. From our facility, it goes to another one where they actually get the gold out of it. So it's all big, giant, heavy machinery, loud, dusty. Yeah,
Huh. Well, I don't think I've met someone that does that.
yeah, we've come a long way from panning and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
It's a
true.
giant operation. It's now the largest gold company in the world, I think, or one of them, probably at least in the United States. This company came in and bought several mines, so we lumped it
Uh,
all together. It's been here since in production since the 60s, I think.
huh.
That
Well,
I'm a mechanic, like I work on vehicles and stuff too. This is a little bit less technical a lot of times than that stuff. Um, that's what I started doing in 2000 as a career.
mm.
I still am doing it.
Do you enjoy it?
There's a lot of things I enjoy about it. Like if you ask me today what I enjoy about it, I have conversations just like I'm having with you, and it's
Mm.
about uh, usually maybe with somebody new. Like, do you love this stuff? And they're either yes or no, and I'm like, if you don't love it, then what are you here for? You're usually here
Mm.
for money or accident, whatever you want to call it. Me too.
Yeah.
And then I go into my story about if you don't love this, then you need to find something you love. Go do that instead, because it'll come out in negative ways. It's not worth the money or time. And that's
Yeah.
I'm telling them a life story. They just don't know it because that's where I'm at. I don't love it.
Mm.
I've done very well with it. Maybe it was necessary for me for the time I had to do it. But now I love stepping back and like mentoring or counseling people on if you have a cool idea, you should try it and maybe it'll lead you out of this place into where you belong. I finally
Mm.
started listening to myself and that's why I set up a podcast.
Mm.
All these magical things are already happening with it. So, uh, like,
I hear you there. Yeah.
for example, I got this place set up and I'm like, okay, I need some guests. So I asked all kinds of people and pretty much I'm getting no. Like nobody wants to be on the camera. Like out of my circle of real close friends, right?
Really? Ah, okay. Yeah. I hear you.
So I had in my mind I need to reach out, so I signed up for that matchmaker deal. Like less than 12 hours
Mhm.
later, you hit me up to bring me on your show. I mean, that's like a lightning strike, an opportunity strike. So,
Yeah.
so I got
Yeah, honestly, for the same for me as well.
right on. You just set it up too?
Yeah, I just got on Matchmaker. This is my first podcast as well.
Right on.
Um,
And it's a direct
yeah, so
hit or grand slam.
I'm not sure. We'll see. I mean, I've only really uploaded my solo episodes and launched it Monday.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, just kind of 7 episodes just myself, just to kind of get the hang of it. But um, but I've been able, like you said, with Matchmaker, get a ton of people to interview.
yeah,
Um, yeah, which is fantastic. Even just to get into the habit of, how to talk to people, like what it actually means to podcast, fixed any technical issues, which is a hassle, so I feel you on that end too.
yeah. Yeah, the more
Yeah.
electronic gizmos you have trying to work together, the more weird issues you're gonna have.
Yeah. There's so many little tiny like things that need to change so that they work effortlessly together.
100%.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my favorite world, though, more than mechanical, and it always has been my entire life. So I had to tell myself, my inner child, if you will, I had to listen to him and like go
Mm.
put myself working with that stuff. And I feel
Yeah.
awesome. Like even just setting this studio up, it's great. I love it. I love coming down here. That's all I want to do.
Mm.
That's what I should be doing. Finally telling my inner child, okay, buddy, we'll do what you want to do. I know how it's.
Oh,
And when you
that's
don't,
sweet.
he rebels against you, and that's drove me into drugs
Yes.
and alcohol and other coping mechanisms.
Yep.
I'm a
I
recovering
feel you.
alcoholic. I got 7 years this past June 25th in recovery, and I guess
Congratulations.
all the things I tried to find in drugs and alcohol, like happiness or whatever, I don't know what I was looking for, but I find it
Mm.
tinkering around with this electronic stuff, recording it and talking to people like you about let's go do what we love to do because that's why we're here and
Mm.
helping me recover. Also, I don't have to pull the rug out from underneath everything by going out and getting blasted anymore. I can
Mm.
leave this place, go home. When I come back, it's exactly like I left it. Now I got a
Hmm.
channel to try to help and inspire maybe somebody else that's in my shoes.
Hmm. Yeah. Amen.
My other take on
That's
that
good.
is when you find that correct thing to do, the universe, if you want to call it that, I call it God. It's God's universe. He gives you everything you
Mm.
need to do it because he's like, this is exactly what I put you here to do. So all these little opportunities come to you. It seems like magic to me. I know it's God's
Ah.
hand in it. And like,
Yeah.
I don't exactly have the money to rent this place every month. And I've had to like be like, well, I'm taking this leap of faith anyway. I guess I have 6 months worth of money to stay in this place. So there's been like a
Mm.
ceiling feeling with thinking about that. And the voice comes to
Mhm.
me, you gotta not think about that. You gotta just do what you love, do it to the best of your
Mm.
ability. So that itself rewards me. And then when I forget about how I'm gonna pay the rent money comes to me. Oh, here it is. Just sign the check. Don't worry about it. Find the
Mm.
expensive equipment to make it really good. Man, it's hard to choke on that money, and the voice comes back. Don't worry about it. Just get it, set it up. And
Yeah.
my resources just keep coming to keep this channel alive. So for that, I can ignore that I might not be able to do this for a career or make money. That's not the point. I'll always have the resources I need to do it. So just do it. I got 100% support from my family. They love watching my little videos
Mm.
too. So
That's lovely. That's probably the best feeling
yeah,
when your family can like It's not even support you like emotionally, just kind of support you in your endeavors. It's the
Yeah.
best. Mm.
It's also a clue that you're on the right track, whatever you sought out to do. It's like everything lines
Mm.
up and is in support of you. There's always the little
Mm.
negative kind of things that the resistance I've heard it called come up. You're gonna have that, but this is
Right.
by far the least resistance and the most support I've had in endeavor. So,
Mm.
like kind of some walls to bounce in between to kind of stay in the same track. I know in my heart it's been the thing for me my entire life. Just finally have to say yes and continue to just build it and see what happens. I've also
Mm.
built some wrong things. Like
Yeah.
I built a company that delivers shipping containers, operated it
Uh-huh.
entirely by myself. Got a lot of success from that.
Mm.
That same inner child voice. It's like, man, I don't really want to do this. I want to go do videos. I hear that in my own head. Like, well, right, me too, buddy. Let's go do that.
And you go hand in hand into the sunlight.
Yeah.
Yep.
So far, I found out that little boy's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's really hard to distinguish sometimes, especially when you get like disconnected a bit
Yeah.
from the inner child. Yeah.
Sometimes that might be
Yeah.
helpful to realize the path you were on was correct. You step off and things go wrong a little bit. So
Mm.
then, man, the experiences
Yeah.
I've had being in the wrong place. I could be one of the ones that can tell people, I hope, don't go that way because that's wrong. Go the other way.
Mm.
I was always told you
Mm.
don't have to make all the same mistakes. You can listen to somebody else that did them. But for me and my curiosity or whatever you want to call it, I had to go make all the mistakes too. That's just how I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
hurts,
I'm very similar. Yeah.
but I'll never forget the lesson. So,
Mm. Yeah.
yeah. We're,
Well, we
we're
started deep.
what's that?
Well, we started deep.
Yeah, that's where I live. At my job, I always end up in this place. We drive around in trucks or we work in pairs, and then it always goes down into the deep. I always end up having these conversations.
Mm.
It's great.
It is great. It is great. And like we definitely need more and more people talking out about it,
Yeah,
in my opinion. I mean, it's crazy to me that my I don't really necessarily mention any of this on like the podcast like description or whatever, but out of all of the conversations I've had, it's all been with like super like-minded people like yourself. Like we're hitting it emotionally, spiritually. We're like, yep,
yeah,
talking about inner child and it's like it's beautiful, but it's almost reassuring to just be like, "Oh crap, okay, there are other people. I'm not crazy."
it is good.
Like, it is my intuition. I hear my voice.
Yeah, and I heard that in the podcast I listened to that you made. Like, yep,
Oh, is it?
it is
Oh,
reassuring.
right, fair.
It is very reassuring. Yeah, I'm kind of on an island out here, or at least I think so. So
Mm,
yeah, reaching out and hearing other people say the same things, I love it. I get that. I have an
mm,
account on X too, and I am directing it to be more of this kind of a channel. And so I like
mm,
follow Robert Greene, Rick Rubin, them kind of people, and they're spitting this stuff out
yeah,
back out to me too to reassure me there.
mhm,
So just gonna keep following it. It's the voice I want to be too is like those guys.
yeah, I hear you.
And there's several
Yeah,
more, but this just everywhere I go right now, this underlying theme that I'm trying to broadcast just being spit for bad words. I don't know what else to call it. Being presented to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's some more reassurance. And then this is like the biggest reassurance I've ever had that this is the right thing.
Hmm.
I had to follow that same voice to even rent this studio out. I was sitting down in the parking lot looking up at this cool building. Even my little daughter's like, you got to have that building because it's so cool. Like, okay, she's 12, so
Mm.
like you got to go in there. Don't go in any other place. I'm sitting there at the parking lot, like dialing the phone number to call the manager. Like, do I push the last number? Do I push send? Yeah, push it before I know what's going on. And I come up here. Here we are. I just know this is the right
Mm.
way to go. Glad you glad you were in the same world, same channel. I'm tired of
Yeah.
hearing about or watching politics on everything.
Mhm.
It's like there's more to life than that.
Yeah. I think I've been dragged into that a little bit more recently since like getting more focused in trying to like maintain social media profiles and crap. It's it that the political stuff gets bombarded a lot more into my life, and it's so easy to get hooked in. But I find that with every conversation I've been having with people for the podcast, it's again like you said, it's that reassurance of like you're not alone. This is I want to say the right path, but it feels like the right path
Yeah,
for me and as you say for yourself.
that's
Yeah.
what you gotta follow
Mm.
because it's
Oh, it's
between
making
you
me all
and
bubbly.
God. That's good. It's kind of it's like a secret weapon in this world. Is to know to listen to that voice and to pay attention to those details because they will tell you exactly where to go. There's no mistake. We're
Mm,
programmed and destined, whatever you want to call it, to be here by the Creator, by the highest being anywhere. He put us here to do those things that make us feel lovely. So just keep doing it.
mm.
Spread the message.
Yeah, right
It's
on.
also helped me to enjoy today instead of worrying about what I did yesterday and worrying about what I want
Mm,
to get done tomorrow. Like today, I'm doing
mm,
a podcast. It's like if I had a choice anytime, it's the first thing I want to go do. Like even when I was out getting all blitzed and all those things, like I get high or whatever, and immediately I want to go find the guitar and just try to learn how to play it. Grab all this electronic
mm,
stuff and try to connect it all, see what it does. So today I do that with a
mm.
sober mind. That's still the same feeling though. It's like the number one thing I want.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you think that
Go ahead.
oh, go ahead. Do you think that because I find sometimes having these conversations, um, a lot of the books that I've read around this like inner child and, you know, kind of pursuing your creative interests, I feel like they tend to be tailored towards creatives and artists, or even like entrepreneurs. You could apply it there as well. But do you think it's there for everyone? And do you think it has to do with just creativity itself?
I had that thought last night. I was like,
Hmm.
is this a super like special event that happened just to me, or is this something that anybody can have? And I'm an optimist. I think anybody can have it.
Mm,
I guess I can take it back to the spiritual reasoning. God made us all, so I think He would reward us all the same for doing what He put us here to do, and also kind of try to discourage things when we're doing what we're not supposed to. And you can either listen to that message or you can block it. That's your part in it. But I think if you're listening, you're going to hear that message and you're going to go the right way. Because I always felt bad, like doing all the other stuff. Like, man, this ain't right. And even today, but it's all still there. This ain't right. Um,
Mm.
so maybe the more you listen to the voice, the clearer it gets. That's also, from my perspective, I guess, on this topic, I'm building a relationship with God. So I got to get to know him, like get to know his sense of humor, like what he would say, what he wouldn't say. Like, is that his voice?
Mm.
Isn't it his voice? I get to reply back in my way. And it seems like the more
Mm.
natural and true to myself I treat that relationship, the better and clearer it gets. So, like, you don't always have to get on your knees and have a structured prayer. You just talk to God, just listen to God. It still counts. So I keep following that type of stuff, and I just I just do believe that that channel's available for everyone. Like if it
Mm.
takes my example to help you find yours, cool. But
Mm.
you're gonna have to go on that journey and develop your own also. I think it's just the way that it works. That's what I've gotten out of the AA and the 12-step program is to develop that relationship with God because that's what you need to get through.
Mm.
If you need to get going where you're going to go, that's the strength and extra help you need on your side, moving the things you can't move, connecting the things you can't connect. So I've done that in every aspect of my life, as many as I can. I believe you could too.
Appreciate that. Mm. Is this something that you talk to your daughter about a lot?
I do. I've started with her. She wanted a phone and a Nintendo Switch. I'm like, well, let's see. We have we have a gym business that her mom runs, and
Mm.
me and her were talking. How could we let her come make some money and
Mm.
learn all of how to do this stuff? She wanted to make like Instagram posts for us. That
Mm.
was the first thing that she did for the gym. So
Cool.
I told her, we'll give you the money for the phone. You can make the posts,
Mm.
give her money to pay us back. Because I wanted her to learn about money and all that stuff. You have to. That's how the world works. If we just
Yeah.
give you the phone and you go do whatever, you're not going to learn much. So she
Mm.
did all that, and she got burned out kind of doing the posts, but
Yeah.
she
Naturally.
did take the money, I believe. I believe she paid us 100% back. Now she like cleans floors at the gym. She
Oh wow.
crochets. She loves to crochet, make little stuffed crochet plushies. So she's got the
That's
art
awesome.
bug too. I got it too. I'm sure of that. Um, but I always try to teach her all these things that I've learned because I was 35 by the time I started hearing and learning about some of this stuff. But once I heard it,
Mm.
I was like, man, this is it. And I I have a son too. He's 10. I teach them both in whatever way that they're learning right now about this stuff. We all go to a church meeting. It's in a home setting. We all keep our spiritual lives in tune that way. So
Mm.
they're experiencing all that right now, developing that. I do it in a couple other ways as well, but that's the root of it. And then my other thing, I always tell them, what do you love doing? That's what you need to do. You need to do it now while you're young and your needs are being met by us. You need to go out and figure all that stuff out. Because once you're 35 like me, I had my daughter by then. I think I had my son too. I was 34 when I had him. So
Mm.
Once you have a family and other obligations, you are kind of at the mercy of, you do need to support that too. But the good news
Yeah.
I've found right now, I have to be in that world and work, but doing this other stuff on the side that I love, it makes that world I don't love so much that much better. So it even works to help with the stuff you just got to do that you might not like. And then what I'm seeing right now, what happened with my wife's gym is we picked the gym business because we loved health and fitness first, not because we wanted $1 million, not because we wanted to be cool gym owners. We picked it because we love
Right.
and understand physical health. It's important for your mental health as well. So we bought it for all those reasons. And then
Mm.
we found we found ourselves in the same position the old owners were in. Like, what do we do with this thing? We're not business people. We don't know how to do anything. Like,
Right.
we're paying all the bills for this gym. It's helping pay some of it. But how do we get to the next level? I just kept asking that question. Like, what do I do next with this thing? And we come across
Mm.
a mentor company through an ad on Facebook. They're like, here's what you do. I was asking the question, what do I do? And they're like, here's what you do. I'm like, okay, this has got to be a joke. So anyway, I looked into it, and then it seemed legit to me. So I
What
started.
was it called?
It's Two Brain Business.
Okay.
That
So it
was
wasn't Alex Hormozy's thing.
no, that was specifically tailored to the gym company.
Right.
But what happened was I
Okay.
connected with my wife, which isn't quite the business person either. She's a bookkeeper and very good with keeping track of that kind of stuff for us. She was a manager at a place that she worked at for someone else. So neither her or nor I were, well, she's not quite the entrepreneur. She follows things by the book. I'm the entrepreneur. I go off on tangents, go explore and figure things out. So I've been exploring and found this mentorship practice business. We had to pay some money, it was like 5 grand to be a part of it. So that was the first hurdle we had to jump. Man, do we have 5 grand to maybe waste if this
Mm.
doesn't work out? But it seemed so right.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be the best thing we could have done because now the gym pays its own bills and some of ours too. And it stayed open
Nice.
through COVID. We bought it in 2019. We had it for 6 months and then COVID shut us down. It kept us through COVID. We ended up with more members after COVID. We have not dropped back to that level. We just keep going to these levels. We might take a little step down, but then we go a little higher. And so that mentorship
Wow.
saved us. And that,
That's amazing.
yeah. So that's another one of my lessons. You got to find somebody that you resonate with as a mentor, and
Mm.
then pay attention to whether what they're telling you is actually getting you anywhere. So
Hmm.
if we take a step back, that's where I started when I was 35. When I told you I didn't know anything about this stuff, I read a
Mm.
book, Killing Sacred Cows by Garrett Gunderson. He dispelled
Okay.
financial myths and 401k and all that
Mm.
stuff. How it's not really helpful to you. So that was another
Mm.
mentorship. That was 12 grand. And it was a year-long program where they sit down with you and talk to you about what do you want to do, and talk
Mm.
to you about put your finances in different categories and buy that cool stuff. Like, enjoy life. Don't scrimp and
Mm.
try to save and wait for someday because we don't have someday. Like,
Mm.
you prepare for the future, but you got to do the things you love right now, or why else do it, really, is what I think. But that taught me
Mm.
about soul purpose. That was part of that curriculum, and that just lit me on
Mm.
fire. So that was a mentorship for me to start out with that had the whole entire package: financial, spiritual, mental, everything. And from there, I I developed my own business with a mentor, and then I got to a place I'm like, yeah, I can handle this. I don't need the mentor anymore. And that business stayed at that level until I just recently kind of stopped doing it. I still
Hmm.
have a yard that I rent out that the proceeds from that funds my podcast now, free and clear. So it wasn't
Wow.
dire waste. Actually, I
Mm.
would say it's potentially going to. I have a renter in the works doing the contracts and stuff. So it's not, I guess, guaranteed today, but by like August
Mm.
1st, it's supposed to happen. There would be a renter to
Mm.
come along someday that they would support the podcast. So it's free and clear, if I believe, I suppose. But I followed my sole purpose to get that all established. We use the proceeds from that business to buy the gym that my wife has. She went off and it's successful now. And here's another story. I got so miserable at work. I was like, God, I can't do this job another day. So that very day, I had an accident. It's a grinder. I hit myself in
Mm.
the face and cut myself. And I was in the wrong what I
Wow.
was doing, so I got fired. I had to take
Mm.
9 months off. But I sold that truck and trailer that that boy told me I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do videos. I sold that stuff so I could have the time off. And then I was like, well, I
Mm.
have to be able to work at the gym and make some money and not have to go back to work, right? That's what I thought. But there was a part of that where I was not being true to myself, like to coach people in the gym. It was like it's the majority is women too. It's a CrossFit style.
Mm.
It's right away. It was like this is going to be a complete struggle for me to be top notch at this business. Like
Mm.
what I'm good at there is maintenance and some other little side stuff, but it
Mm.
wasn't the right fit. I ended up quitting that. I ended up having to go back to work for a living, kind of with a loss.
Yeah.
I spent that 9 months and didn't find a way to support myself financially, so I had to go back to the work I didn't exactly love.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very long story short, now today I'm doing it. Like I gotta believe in this stuff. 'Cause at least it makes me completely fulfilled and happy today. Do these
Mm.
little videos to have these little chats. So I finally stop listening to all the things I think could be a good idea that should make a lot of money, that should give me financial freedom. It's the wrong way for me to think about it. When I step into this world right here with the electronics, I don't worry about any of the financials or business parts. Those those needs seem to be met by other people. I just do the thing that I'm the best at.
Mm.
I have the best fun doing. So that's this. And talking about it.
Wow. So wait, just to clarify, did you end up selling? You said you sold, was it your equipment? So
Yeah.
you couldn't do like your audio stuff as a way to like not distract yourself.
I sold a truck and a trailer and
Ah.
some inventory from the container shipping container rental business that I built. It's all
Okay, okay.
industrial stuff, which is not related to my sole purpose at all, really. I'm not a truck driver. I didn't enjoy that. That's the biggest part of that job.
Mm-hmm.
It's big giant machinery like I'm used to at my day job. So I
Mm.
was actually doing just working some more. So I'd get home from work and then go work at my own company. It was like I built another job instead of a business. So
Mm.
I was doing the same things that weren't the complete fit and telling myself no more or less to these other audio video things that are 100% a good fit. It was just draining me and I just was stuck in that world because I kept doing that. So
Now, do you think you would have known this before?
yes, because I feel like I had to ignore the voices that were telling me
Mm.
that wasn't a fit. There's actually a lot to that story, I guess, too. Like I ended up with that business on accident, trying to chase
Okay.
trying to chase my sole purpose,
Mm-hmm.
which was so before the 2015 lesson where I learned about soul purpose. 2005, a family friend of ours invited me to come do audio and video at a haunted house because
Mm,
he already heard from my parents and seen from me all my little tendencies to do good with that kind of stuff. Like
mm,
always into music, always into putting stereos into my own vehicles or other people's, always messing with electronics, computers. He needed a person that could do audio and video at a haunted house, and that person was me. So he's like, "Would you like
mm,
to do that?" I was like, "Yes, I would very much." So in the beginning, it was to take all this donated and discarded stereo equipment, speakers, stereos, radios, whatever, wires, take this
mm,
and make it broadcast music throughout this haunted house. And like at the time, he was like working every single day, spending all his time building the facility that this haunted house was at, which was the haunt was his sole purpose, magic tricks, illusions, all that stuff. So he was all in it, all jazzed to do it. But it was taking its toll on him, and he was wondering, is this thing ever going to work? So then
mm.
it was my turn to come in and start broadcasting this cassette tape soundtrack he had across this whole haunted house. Like the minute I pushed play, his hope was restored in the place. It was like when you turned
Oh,
it on, it was like magic. I knew everything was going to be all right. So,
mm,
so me doing my soul purpose resonated with his soul purpose. I was the person he needed to make that. They called my room after that the magic room. It was forever known as the magic room, my little audio room. And then
oh,
me
that's
and
lovely.
we had like management troubles at this haunted house. We kept having to rebuild and we kept having to fight the management. We paid a lot of the things out of our own pocket and we were kind of too afraid to beg for the money back. We got some of it back once in a while, but it was really hard to get the money back. It just evaporated. We just did it out of the love of our own hearts. I always told myself I wish I could do this for a living as I was working on all these audio video things. And
Mm.
anyway, we decided to go into our own business, me and him. We were going to build haunted houses and shipping containers. So we could move them wherever in the world they needed to be.
Oh, yeah.
So trying to round up shipping containers to build these things in, we took like a misstep and just turned it into a container company.
Oh, shit.
And
Okay.
I was like, I went from being sober my first go round to ending up back into drinking and stuff. And then I took this misstep,
Mm,
whether that's related or not. I'm sure it has to be related, right?
mm.
But I told
Yeah.
that full purpose no quite a bit and ended up having to deal with it again later. Like, you gotta say yes to it, man. You gotta say yes to the little child. He's right. He, she, they're right. That little voice is correct.
Yeah. I do find that something that I've learned is like the shaming aspect, because I know there's so many things that I could or should be doing, but it's also sometimes hard to, what step to take next or to know what step to take next. And I find that the one thing that kind of helps me, regardless of how I'm feeling, regardless of the mistakes or the the no mistakes that I've made, um, is this idea of like there's no point of shaming myself for what I have done or what I have not done. Because at the end of the day, I'm still here. Like all the things that I have quit, that I've stopped doing, that my parents got frustrated with or didn't enjoy, my family, yeah, it's just you're still right where you are right now.
Yeah,
And you can look at the lessons, you can look at what you've learned from that experience, and you can either take it or leave it. But at some point or another, you're still gonna face right back onto that wall, and you're gonna have to face it, you know? But shaming yourself, I think, can be so so difficult because it could just spiral. It's so easy to just spiral in that shame.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was feeling terrible, so I coped with alcohol or drugs to make me feel better, or food or
yeah,
whatever. That's
yeah. For me, it's sugar.
yeah, it's caffeine and sugar for me still. I'm gonna have to
Mm,
deal with those too, but they don't wreck my life so far.
yeah, yeah. I need to be careful with alcohol. I know that I have a tendency. Um, so I've started to um like get those like non-alcoholic versions because the thing for me is that I like the taste as well. Um, yeah. But with the antidepressants, it becomes more complicated because, like, regardless of how much how much you drink, it's like it will still mess you up. So the next day you'll still feel more upset or more down or whatever it is, however it affects you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy that goes to a meeting I go to. He went through all the drugs and alcohol stuff. Like, we're alcoholics to the letter. We just drink until we're completely disabled, basically. But
Mm,
he was on antidepressants also. He he got off of them because of his relationship with God and working this program in AA.
mm,
Just a miracle. Just
mm,
like whatever he wasn't doing that he felt terrible because of, he must have started doing. And God's like, we can make you feel better again.
mm,
I felt like I could have been one too to be on those. I'm just like, I've been on enough chemicals that I don't even want to be on pain medication for surgery or anything anymore.
mm,
Just I'm I'm a little bit, what would we say, the effect of drugs 100% I never recovered from, or alcohol. There's still
mm.
like a small bit of character we might say that I still have because of doing all that stuff. But now I
Yeah.
want to just feel what that is. Just go from here and grow and heal. I find the biggest antidepressant for me though is to do this sole purpose of mine.
Mm,
It makes the whole world disappear, it makes time disappear. Cares, struggles, they all go away. I can completely laser focus on what I'm doing.
mm,
That's got to be the biggest indicator of all that that's the right thing for you. I think that should be all that matters to you
yeah.
is how you feel when you're doing it, regardless of if people tell you it's going to work, it's the right thing, whatever they tell you. I have to be as sober as I can be to fully feel that feeling. It's working for me today. I haven't been saying yes to this voice completely very long. I
Mm,
don't do it 100% every day, but it's getting sharper and sharper.
mm,
Then, so you do that first. You do what you love and what you feel good doing first, very first. And
mm,
for the reassurance, you get the little things that come to you, the little opportunities. Oh, this person wants you on a podcast. This person has
mm.
exactly the same kind of thoughts and feelings you do. Cool, that's an indicator. The other people like, you should see Brad's videos, man. They're getting better. That's another indicator.
Yeah.
And the other thing I've heard is like you will discount how good you are at that thing because it just comes natural to you. You're like, man, it ain't nothing to do that. It ain't nothing for me to turn a phone on and record a video. I can't quit. I love
Mhm.
it. For other people, they can't even run the phone. But
Right.
that's just not their thing. They do have a thing that they would be just as good at. We can't all have the same thing. My
Mhm.
theory on that is we're made that way on purpose, so we're required to work together because you can't really do it all alone
Exactly.
either.
Yeah.
I've got so many things in
Yeah.
place in my life right now where I actually do depend on other people that I can do what I do now. I cannot ignore that. I just have to have really good people in all the places I need them. whether that be
Hmm.
for taking care of the business aspects, whatever piece I'm missing or whatever piece I really kind of hate doing. I've been told that I should try to delegate those to the best possible people I can find and be willing to pay the price for their good service so that I can dial
Hmm.
down something my good service for somebody else that can't do it. So at
I
least,
think that's what the Jewish, I think, do, isn't it?
is that right?
They kind of stick. Yeah, I believe it's part of their belief. They kind of stick to their lane.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it properly, but they're like, this is what, like, for example, this is the business I run, so I'm not going to try to fix my dishwasher.
Yeah.
Someone else knows how to do that, and you're just doing the work of God by paying that person who knows what they're doing to do the thing that they were meant to be doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
never heard it. I heard that it comes from more of the Jewish background, but I can see that.
Mm.
I've also kind of heard maybe like some people say, just got to do it all yourself. Don't let anybody help. But luckily, that doesn't work for me. Sometimes I
Yeah.
might feel like I should get all the credit, I guess, because look what I can do. But
Yeah.
just thankful I know it's not true. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. Yeah. I'm getting to that point with mechanical stuff too. I've been a mechanic all my life. Always taking care of as much as I can on my own vehicles. We got some
Mm.
vehicles in the garage right now. You can't trust them for a long trip. I've had some break down on me, like hours from home, and I've had to spend hours working on my own vehicle when I was supposed to be on vacation.
Mm.
I'm getting more and more like that, where I'm like, I have trust issues with other mechanics because they don't. A lot of them are not honest. They don't do a good job. That's what I got to get
Yeah.
over. But the more of that I can delegate to where I rented a car. That's how I dealt with this last time. Spent all the
Yeah.
extra money, but if this thing breaks down on this 1,000-mile trip, it's somebody else's problem. And that was beautiful.
Right.
That was like one of the best trips I've had. It was just back in April. So that was life changing.
Yeah.
You definitely apply that to whatever business you're trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, for anyone really. How do you think, because I really struggle with this dynamic because I share your point of view, but then I also have that other side where um it's like, live live frugally so that like for now, for a bit, right, as you're trying to start something or launch something. Um yeah, I go back and forth on this. My partner leans towards like saving every penny, whereas I'm more like you. I kind of prefer to live for the now, and I have this like I just have this full-on belief that I'll be okay. That life will figure itself out. And I'm sure there's some people that will think that that's so naive to think. But just deep down just feel that it will be, even if I have to go through some crap. Like in the end, it will be fine. How
I,
do you think? Or does that dynamic work in your head?
I see both sides of the coin. Like there
Mm.
does have to be some like dad aspect to it. Like you got to pay the bills, you got to this and that. And there's the mom aspect. You can be whatever you want to be, honey. Follow your dreams.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
I think you're correct in thinking that it'll be all okay. I think
Mm.
if you're following what you're supposed to, all your needs will be met. I've learned that to be true for me. When I couldn't see where the money's going to come from, where any means is going to come from, when I worried about it, I took wrong steps. When I thought
Mm.
I can trust God, I can trust myself now, knowing I'm going on the right path, things just work out. Because
Mm.
I guess that's another way that you hire out your help. Like I ask God for help. I ask Him every day before I even go anywhere. Please help me again today, basically, because I know I need His help. He shows up. Anytime during the day, I'm like, please help me again with this situation. It doesn't feel good. I want to contribute positively. Help me out. He helps again. He helps every single time. At night, I say thank you. So that's another version of paying for somebody's perfect expert help, professional help.
Hmm.
So for those reasons, I believe it will be all okay. Bills will get paid. You can like
Hmm.
find that success story all over the place. You start looking. How many
Yeah.
people are like, yeah, I just started doing this thing that I like doing in the garage and it worked out. Just everybody's got to
Yeah.
find their exact thing in the garage so that it can work out.
Hmm.
Luckily, what that's called is abundance versus scarcity. So
Yeah.
if you have a mind of abundance, you're going to have plenty. If you have a mind of scarcity, you're going to run out. I found that to be
Hmm.
true with money. Like right
Hmm.
now, I'm spending the previous business's account balance, and I was at $400 after I
Hmm.
spent all the money getting this place set up. That's a feeling, man. I'll tell you, it's like this money's going to run out. I'm going to have to move. This is going to be done. I
Hmm.
tell myself, no, I got to think abundantly. Like the means are going to come from somewhere if this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And sure
Hmm.
enough, they sure are. You need some kind of touch with reality, but
Hmm.
I guess the other, like there's a Dave Ramsey approach and there's this Garrett Gunderson guy's approach, which I prefer better.
Hmm.
And his idea
What's
is like a luxury once enjoyed becomes a necessity. So if you're doing things
Ooh.
with quality materials or equipment, you're not going to want to drop back down and go backwards. On the same
I
token,
love
you've got to be careful that you have the expenses to pay for these luxuries. You
Hmm.
can't be asleep with that either. But his whole entire
Right.
program taught me how to be abundant, how to look into my financial picture. I guess how you be careful and don't spend too much is you put your finances in categories. Like you have separate bank accounts. You have one for expenses. You have one that you can spend on whatever in the world you desire.
Hmm.
There's some others so that you spend guilt free when you go do buy these wonderful things for yourself or go on trips that you want to go on, knowing that
Hmm.
all your bills will be paid. But you don't hoard it all in a pile and sit on it and not have a good life today. That's why would you want
Hmm.
to do that? Because you might just
Hmm.
have today. No one of us ever knows. It's like, was I not spending $1 today so I could have it tomorrow, and tomorrow never came? That would suck.
Yeah.
And we also went through like, forget what it's called, but it tells you like your behavior with financial stuff. And I was an master spender. That means I gain stuff by spending. My wife is an master
Ah.
saver. It's her favorite thing to save money to go spend it on the best possible thing that she can.
Wait, so is it a master saver? Is that what you said?
A master, like you amass.
Oh, a master to amass. Ah, okay.
So we all have like a
A master.
personality related to that. And once you know what that personality is, you're like, well, cool, I can just spend money then. And it's going to work out for me. And if I look behind in my story a little bit, it's exactly what I've been doing. And it's exactly what's been happening. I just keep spending it.
That's so
When you spend it on the
cute.
right stuff, you're going to get more because it's like, I picture it like God looking upon my life. It's like, well, he's going to need a few more bucks so he can get this. So here it is. He's going to need a few more over
Because
here.
that's just how you think, so I'm gonna do that for you, because you need to understand what I'm trying to tell you.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
When I worried
That's
about
brilliant.
how I'm going to have money to pay for the bills, my money just disappeared. I was broke. So
Hmm.
It's almost like I'm doing it on purpose. I'm trying to spend every dollar out of my account just to prove this theory right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been there. I've been there.
I got some reassuring income coming in. Like I make plenty of money at my day job. So if it has to be, I do my day job so I can do this podcast. So be it. Because I feel great. It does what I need it to do to help me with whatever else I got to do. But I can already see like along those lines, I built my last side business. By the time it was mature, I had something I didn't want. This business right here, if it should turn into the same level of success, by the time it's mature, I'll have something I love. So I'm going with that for now. This pays zero bills, but just in
Hmm.
case it becomes a thing I got to do for a 9 to 5, I want it to be what I love. I want it to be a business, not just another job. You know, a business makes your life better. It makes you freer. You should have more time to do the things you love. That's why you want to build a business. Otherwise, you might as well go to work for somebody and just make money,
Yeah.
get the free time the other way, be able to shut it off when you go home.
But that's not necessarily to say that that freedom's gonna come, like, just as you're building, is it? It might take a while.
I still do feel the freedom, like I told you, the whole world disappeared.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
actually, I think, the feeling I'm chasing, trying to build a way to have all the time.
Mm.
I want time to disappear. I want the idea of money to disappear. I want to only focus on what does it do when I plug this wire into that machine, connected to this other machine. What is the problem that we're having that you hear an echo when I plug all my stuff in? It's like a level of meditation for me. Like
Huh.
completely puts me in that world and I think about no worries, no cares.
Hmm.
That's what I want. It also puts me in these places to have these conversations. It's like this is so freaking cool. This is what happened to me because I did that. Like took a leap of
Yeah.
faith and went off in that direction. Look at all these cool things that happened. This is freaking beautiful right now.
Hmm.
I met these people because I took that choice. We had this conversation. And that changed my life
Mm.
forever that day. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, this is what we're after.
Mm.
Yeah, I worried
And
about
it's
how am I going to have guests for this podcast I'm starting to build. I actually built it at a different place at first. I was like,
uh
well, this guy that is at this place, he's cool. I think he'd be a good addition to the podcast. Maybe he could help bring some energy to the podcast because I consider myself to be low energy and boring to listen to. But this guy, he was
okay.
like animated and just cool. I was like, all right, cool, let's
Yeah.
bring him on. And then his topic went immediately to politics.
Ah.
No, that's not what I want.
You know, Brad, I was literally about to say something so like synchronous to what you just said, which was because I so the podcast I started right, is called Artist Takes on Business School. And each fucking conversation I have with people, like it goes around business, but it's mostly this type of conversation we're having. It just so happens that that's the people that I'm connecting with. And it's never like I intentionally go that way. And so there's a voice in my head that's like, should I be like changing this? Like maybe the branding's a bit off. Like, the logical side of me comes on. But then I'm like, actually, it's working just fine. Like if I end up changing in the future, sure, but I feel like if I were to change it now and try to like find those types of people, like by actually advertising, let's say, reaching out to people that I think would be perfect, I might end up getting not the right guess, if you get my drift.
I do.
Like,
Just makes me wonder, do you need help with that side of things? Is that why you're doing this podcast, is to find some helpful tidbits that are actually business more than artistic?
I'm not sure. I think maybe like I started the podcast as a way to have like a fun creative thing to do on the side whilst I build um like understanding of how to build an audience and all of that, because I want to apply my business, like what I learn in business school, into what I'm doing or what I end up doing. So it's kind of like stepping stones. But the more I have conversations with people, the more I'm like, oh, this is actually just really cool to just be talking and having these conversations. And yeah, yeah.
Well, that's
So
good.
yes, yes and no.
Yeah, the best resources I could tell you is Garrett just re-released a book called "What Would the Rockefellers Do."
Mm, okay.
You can get that
You
for
did?
free on Spotify, or you can get the book sent to you for free by maybe even going to that website or his or whatever. But that's more of the how to make it kind of financially
Mm,
and how those guys built their wealth and how they still have it today because of what they
mm.
did and how they thought about money. This is the same guy that taught me about soul purpose. So it's not,
Ah, okay.
it's like a whole picture. You have to have this part that we have so well to have the other part work. Like your main
Right.
thought can't be about money unless you are the
Mm,
financial wizard and that's your sole purpose to be that, which this guy is. So he gets to think and
mm.
talk about money all the time because he knows how to do it. He's the professional to pay. But what he's learned by talking to people that are wealthy, how they did it, he learned this whole entire program.
Mm,
He's the one that says a luxury once enjoyed becomes a necessity, that kind of thing.
right. That's a beautiful quote.
It is. Yeah, so I just started re-listening to that audio version of that book because I read the paper version, but it's updated now for today for the after COVID situation we're in. I've,
Mm,
I've just started out. It's a wonderful book, like even just to listen to. My theory on books is if you start listening to, or reading it, listening to whichever, you find the ones you can't put down. Those are the ones. Sometimes you'll find one you struggle to start. It doesn't mean you hate or suck at reading. It just means maybe you found the wrong book. Try a different one. So that book
mm,
I just started re-listening to, but it's one of those books I can't stop listening to it or reading it. So there'll
mm,
be some financial nuggets in there on how a person just sets themselves up to do their sole purpose. Dial it down to where you are paying everybody else to do those things you hate. So you can do the things that you love. I think that's that book in a nutshell.
beautiful.
We do have to
Thank
have
you.
money to do what we're doing, so it's nice to get that worry out of the way.
Mm, yeah.
You don't have to be a sellout. You don't have to deny yourself everything just so you can survive. I don't think
Mm,
God wants that either. Of course, He doesn't. He wants us to be happy, productive servants. We
mm.
want to be happy to do what we're asked to do. He's the best employer there's going to be ever.
Hmm. Well, you're just speaking. Wow.
Yeah, this was
Mm,
part of that. Uh, it's like an entrepreneurial school, I call it. Be one of the only things I've
mm,
been to school for. This sole purpose part of it just completely lit me on fire. It's like I understand that, I believe it. I'm going
mm.
off in that direction. So now it's great to match the two. My audio video skills, they're all natural. I did go to a course to do audio production with Berkeley, with Ableton Live at Berkeley College, the online.
Okay.
That
Mm,
was another opportunity, lightning strike type event. So I have this curiosity and this bug, and it was to make music. I think was the original thing. I always wanted to make music. So finally one day, my my wife got this brand new iMac computer in like 2005, somewhere around there. It had GarageBand on there. You could go in there and make whatever kind of music you wanted. I loved it. So I made a couple little tracks and I uploaded one of those tracks to MySpace. I was like totally embarrassed. Like, man, this is hard. But I pushed send before my mind could catch up. And then very quickly after, this guy from Portland heard it. He's like, hey, I want to remix this. Is that okay with you? I'm like, hell yeah, that's okay.
Oh,
That track is now on Spotify.
oh, wow. What is
So
it called?
it's called 5.2.S 2.8.9 RMX. I'm sorry.
2.8.9 RX.
I'll re-explain that and share it the right way. But
Yeah.
2.8.9, I labeled the track from the date that I started it, so that was February 8th, 2009. Put a
Ah,
period between the numbers. So two
yeah.
period period nine, and then RMX is remix. That's what he titled it as. So it's 2.8.9 RMX. That's what it is on Spotify.
Amazing. I'm gonna check it out after this.
All right. And the artist is Adapter.
Adapter. So he's all about remixing?
Yeah, so what he did, like the very beginning of that track, the intro, is my creation, like um, pretty raw, unedited. So
Hmm.
that sparked his imagination to build the whole entire rest of the song. And he kept that original track playing in the background. It's like the
Hmm.
foundation of the song, while he did all kinds of cool other stuff production wise. It's kind of like a rave kind of dance music kind of track. Oh,
Hmm.
and then okay, he makes that right. That spurs me on
Yeah.
to go make. That spurred me on to go to college to do the music production because I went from GarageBand. I bought Ableton Live. I get on there and I can't
Yeah.
even run the program. So then I found Berklee College of Music. They had a program exactly tailored to run that program. So I learned how to run
Hmm.
the program. Then I went off to make more beautiful sound effects for the haunted house I was at the time. And then one day I'm playing that track I just shared with you at the haunted house. Kind of, I think I had it playing in a room. I don't remember if
Hmm.
it was during showtime or not, or maybe in between, or maybe it was like the music before the show. But it's a completely blacked out room with this red and green laser disco ball shining all over in it. It was like next door to my magic room where I was doing all these sound effect things. I open the door and look in there, and there's people in costumes dressed up dancing to that track. I was like, holy cow. It was like best moment of my life. So I started on
Wow.
the computer dinking around. That guy picked it up, remixed it, played it at the haunted house. I looked into those people. They might as well have been at a club dancing to that music in that room. Just all right there. So that was a reassurance that that was the direct fit, something I should be doing. So that
Hmm.
song has all kinds of man.
Hmm.
Just made me love it more, of course. So I
Yeah.
don't know, I don't remember exactly the moment that happened to me in podcasts, but podcasts affect me the same way. I learn about people, I learn something new, and I just want to do it myself. So
Hmm.
my computer just crashed on me. I think I can't get it to turn on. It's from 2009. I bought a brand new Mac uh, MacBook,
Okay.
and my entire library is on that thing, other than what I put on YouTube or SoundCloud and this other video on
Right.
Spotify. So right now I'm working on thinking about how to get that fixed. I'm gonna have to hire a professional because that's like a time capsule in that laptop now. But I've
Yeah.
been using, if you watched my podcast, you heard my music because I use my own music for the intros and all that other stuff.
Oh, okay, cool.
I love to use my own stuff. I don't like using popular music or anybody else's stuff. I just
Mm,
doesn't vibe with me. I just had
mm,
to believe in my stuff being the right stuff to choose. That's what I had to do.
mm.
But I keep getting these reassurances like you talked about. Yep,
Yeah,
keep on doing it. That's the right thing.
yeah. This whole conversation is just reassurance to me.
Yep. This is what
Yeah.
this studio of mine is all about. 100%.
Mm,
I've watched people do this on podcasts. I didn't know this is how it felt to be on one.
right.
I've had that happen time and again. I love it. It's
Yeah.
the grandest reassurance you could have, what we come across doing podcasts.
And you know what it is? It's just people talking to people.
Yep. So these are the kind of conversations we should have in person with each other too.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's it. That's all. How crazy is that?
It's not crazy at all. It's the most sane thing there is.
Yeah. No, it's just crazy that like we almost have to realize that, and it's not. Ah, yeah.
That's just the way it works in the human world. You got to go experience and learn
Mm,
just how
mm,
it's been made for us. We don't just automatically get it. Some things we do,
mm,
like our expertise, we just kind of get that. That's our gift.
mm,
We take that gift and we make it multiply into the world. We share and help out as many people along the way as we can. Reassure each
mm,
other.
mm,
Yep, no mistake. And if you step off the path, there's plenty to let you know. There's like rumble strips on the road. It's probably first that you got out of your lane. There's weeds, there's ditches. Completely wreck and stop the car if you go the wrong way. If you want to try to get back
mm.
on the road, you might be able to find another car and try again. Heavy mechanic reference there. That's my mechanical work. My mechanical world I thought was first. I'm very naturally
Mm,
talented mechanically. I don't have to go to school for mechanical stuff. I just go
huh.
step up to the machine and start taking it apart. But what I've
Is it like you get told or pulled towards the pieces that you need to go to?
that's how it works mechanically.
Yeah.
I look at this machine and I see a bolt and I'm like, in my mind it's like 3/4 inch wrench. So then I reach for the wrench and I loosen the bolt
Mm,
and then that unlocks a cover that unlocks gears and more bolts. It's like,
mm,
okay, 15/16 screwdriver. That's in this drawer. You got to put your tools in all the right drawers so you know where to find them. You can do that
mm.
metaphorically or literally.
Yeah.
And then it's
Mm,
like, oh, here's what went wrong. And then here's how to fix it. That comes to my mind. So I have all the resources I have to put that together the best I can. And then, all right, rebuild it now. Remember this went there. Or here's a picture you took so you didn't forget that this went there. And back to the machine. And then the machine running and having longevity is the reward for me. So, but I've come to realize that's my second talent. This audio video, these conversations is is quickly taking place as being number one.
mm,
'Cause I do like it more. It's a lot cleaner to sit in the studio. I got climate control in here. My
mm,
body is not getting worn out, not in the hazardous place. This is
mm,
where it's at to me. I get to be a part of something, put it on YouTube, and millions of people will potentially see it. That's fun.
mm,
I
mm.
kind of get giddy sometimes. It's exciting, more so than being a mechanic. That's
Huh.
like my dad job and my mom job is like, go do podcasts, honey. I know you love that so much. I love watching you do them. Love watching you smile and light up while you're doing it. My mom's my number one fan, of course, always has been. So she gets to
Hmm.
see all the stuff on there too. She knows. That's how you also can figure out your soul purpose. Your mom knows. She watched you. She watched me tear apart every stereo I ever gave that she ever gave me. From the time I
Hmm.
could do anything, we always listened to music in her car. It was always like burning up wires in the house, blowing breakers. My dad had to come fix my whole entire light switch wire from the switch to the fixture in the ceiling. I tried to hook this light up sign to it.
Uh,
I stuck the bobby pin in the stove at grandma's house. I got knocked on my butt across the floor, and I never learned I'd go do it again. So quite literally, your mom can tell you what your soul purpose is. It's what you've always done from the time you could do anything. I
hmm.
learned how to be a mechanic after all that stuff, kind of out of necessity. And I've done very well with that too. It's put a lot of money. It's put all the money in my places. I support my family and help others also with it. And now this podcast too. So I can't feel bad about that. But I do know the different way that I feel doing one activity versus the other. I've even taken recorders to work, recorded coworkers working, and then put it in my music or on a video. You can find that on my YouTube channel too.
Mm.
Just always had this
I
kid.
saw the one where you were like redoing the guitar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my that was the second video for B Rad at something. Like probably my number one video of all time. That was the realest I could be. That's what it would be like to work with me when I'm in a good mood, having fun doing a project, like the partner I'm working with, which would be you, the audience on that one. I
Mm.
went back behind myself and re-edited everything, voiceover, did voiceovers because the audio was poor. That was 100% me,
Mm.
and that resonated with people bigger than any other video I've done. Of course it did,
Mm.
because I was real. I was true to the calling on that one. My next
Mm.
high level videos are the ones I talk about my recovery. That's a pretty
Mm.
pretty good topic. Plus, I'm real as can be on those channels too.
Mm. What are
But
those called?
it's all B rad at something.
Oh, it's the same. Oh, okay, okay, cool. It's
Same.
the same.
So like if you go to my channel and you go with, I don't know how you do it. Go with it being in chronological order, one way or the other. The very
Mm.
first video is me playing a guitar in my basement at my first studio,
Mm.
all the way up to the newest video. You go in order that way, you see that whole journey. But if you do the like most popular, I think that guitar sign video is number one. And the one with my sponsee and AA has got to be up there to be number two.
Mm.
That's also reminds me, if you love what you have and you want to keep it, you got to give it away. All this knowledge and things I love, I need to share it with everybody else. How did I get here? How can you get there?
Mm.
I gotta share my experience. Experience, strength, and hope. It's called from AA. So
Mm.
if you want more,
Experience,
you
strength,
gotta
and
give it all out. So
mm.
that was kind of my thought. I could have maybe plenty of the AA discussion type meetings, and it turned out people I most want to invite to do a podcast with, they're camera shy. So
Mm.
I did not expect that. It caused some scarcity in my mind. But this matchmaker stuff and this video with you today has totally got me over that hurdle. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Hmm. Do you have any more lined up then?
I had another one asked to be on my show like shortly after yours. I just got bam, bam. I got two right away. One, like I didn't know how to set it up first. That's why I ended up doing the guest one first. I knew
Right.
that I did that, but like, okay, I'll let that be whatever it is. That turned
Hmm.
out to be a cool mistake because you already get to be a guest on the show. But my kind of
Yeah.
first official episode here. Then now I have
Yeah.
another lined up for August. He's going to be a guest on mine.
Okay, cool.
I watched some of his material. He follows some of the same people I follow. My thought was I want people that can talk more than I can because I sometimes I get to a spot where I can't think of anything to say. I could be a good listener. So
Mm.
like I need people that can talk so I can have a channel, have a show. This guy seemed like he'd be a good one of those. I've done fine talking today. I've had to like just
Yeah, you
realize
did excellent talking today. Yeah.
I've been practicing enough to understand that once I hit the right channel, I'm doing good. I can talk. It's all about being honest, like listening to
Yeah.
the interviewer and trying to answer their question. And it goes off and it takes off a life of its own for sure. But
Yeah.
we checked all the right boxes. We have the same theme, if you will.
Mm.
We can finish each
Yeah.
other's sentences. I bet it's all working out
A
good.
little bit, a little bit. But
But
because we're on audio, it's hard to do that. If we were in person, I think I'd be doing it a lot more.
yeah,
Yeah. No, this has been, well, as you say, rad.
yeah,
It's been really, really great,
yeah. Be
honestly.
rad at something. It's what I want me to do, and that's what I want you to do.
Mm,
It almost should be rad at one thing to help you understand that you got to dial it down as close to one thing as you can. But
mm.
yeah, that
I
name
think
just
for me is, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
I feel like I interrupted you on that one. You go ahead.
Oh no, it was kind of just a side thing. It's just saying like, I kind of have a feeling like for me it has something to do with like communication or giving space to people.
Yeah,
Not sure exactly what it is yet, but
just
it's clearing up.
just like you talked to somebody that was right in front of you
Mm.
without cameras or microphones at all. You try to listen to what they're saying. You engage with them, nod your head, say yeah, yeah, cool. But
Yeah.
you add your part. It's just a
Mm,
totally natural thing. I don't like to have the written questions down. I'm finding I don't need one. Don't need a
mm,
list. I've done it off of a list also, and it was okay. But it still gets to the
right.
place where you can't follow a list and let this flow and be natural because it's going to
Mm,
go in a direction that it's going to go.
mm.
Sure, some of the
Yeah, I think
conversations
that
have problems, but
I was just
okay.
saying. Sorry. I think the me trying to get send like a brief to guests is has to do with like what you're kind of taught to do, you know?
Yeah.
I think doing research on people can be very helpful. Um, I mean, it's what I've done with actually, you're the first guest that I've like talked to that I haven't done a brief session with, like a short conversation with before getting onto the long form. And I didn't want to mention anything because I think you were the first one to reach out to me, like that replied back. So I was just kind of like, "Oh shit, okay, cool. Someone said yes." So I didn't even think too much about it, and then I got a few other people saying yes, and I was like, "Okay, I think this is what you're supposed to do." So brief, but I had already connected with you and um, basically verified that we were gonna do it, and so I didn't want to go back on my word and like, "Hey, can we do a short call first just to make sure?" But I mean, it all worked out as I had to.
Yep. Just like kind of our theme and our topic has been.
Mm,
I'm sure some people do better with a list. That list helps
yeah.
them have a conversation like this.
Mm,
So I'm not for or against either way, but I've never been like a list making following type person with anything I do. It's all kind of just a jump in and start working and follow it where it goes. Even with my mechanical work, that's I think why I can fix some machinery that others can't. Because I go in like I know nothing about this machine, but I know how to use tools. I know what I've learned in the
Mm,
past, certain things. But I could go through a repair on the machine, the same machine a different way every time. You can get
mm,
into trouble doing that too sometimes. You might have to go back a few steps and do the step you missed. Because there also
right.
is detailed instructions on how to work on some of that stuff. But for me,
Mm,
I've been able to dig in because I didn't follow an exact set way. I've discovered small things that mattered that some other people missed. That was the difference between a machine running for a week or a machine running for years. So
mm,
for me, that's the toolkit I was born with is to do it that way. Nothing wrong with how I do it. Nothing wrong with the people that do it by the letter.
mm.
I'm preferring. I've
Just
wondered
what
that
works
too.
for you.
You are taught like, yeah, you should have like an itinerary, a list of things to talk about. I, what I want it to be for me is just like this. I want it to have room,
Mm,
time to go be what it needs to be.
mm, yeah. I feel that. I mean, I wing just about everything in my life. So
Yeah, so
I
it could
figured,
be
let me do that.
that could be an artist thing.
Yeah, yeah, it could be. It could just be impulsive.
Yeah. Well, if it works for you, then it's not wrong, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
You can hire the
Oh
people
yeah,
that
we all
you
have our
need.
processes, isn't it?
Yeah. I get bored. I find it about impossible to find a list of any kind of steps to do.
Mm,
That's not how I want to do anything. I can when I have
mm,
to, but if I'm free to do whatever I want, I can still provide value, and it's a lot more fun for me.
mm.
That being said, like it's wise for me to have a keeper, make sure I'm not going too far off into the weeds where I want to go.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Is
just
that
want,
keeper like someone else, or is that in your head as well?
it's both.
Mm,
So I guess I have God to make those connections for me. But
mm,
my keeper to get sober and stay spiritual, at least in the beginning, was my wife. She was my
mm,
girlfriend at the very beginning of my spiritual journey and recovery. She's been put there on purpose by God, no doubt, to be my keeper when I couldn't get the program. I couldn't say no to the bad behaviors. That gave me a
mm,
foothold. I've realized I still need her. I still need God's voice today, all the same. I was thinking about that today. A hand pulled me out of the gutter for the very first time. And the first time it happened, I thought that's the only time it needed to happen. It's like, okay, I'm out of the gutter now. Thanks, I got it. And I ended up back in the gutter. What I know today is I need a hand to pull me out of the gutter often. It's a very narrow path, and there's a gutter
mm,
on either side. Or I need
mm,
to ask for help in the beginning that I stay on the path and not fall into the gutter. That's where I
mm,
start. But then I do inevitably fall into it. I ask for the help out of it. So then God is the coordinator of who I work with, who my keeper is today. Like even like yesterday at work, I was a lot more productive because I had a partner I enjoyed working with. We were able to stay on
mm,
track on the project we were working on. We got a lot more accomplished on one project rather than my other role was to kind of bounce around all kinds of different projects like the day before. So this one project, it got moved forward inches the previous day when I was scattered doing everything else without a keeper. The second day with a keeper, that project went forward miles.
Right.
We put our focus together. Everything I did
Hmm.
was necessary and helpful both days. So, but yeah, I believe and have faith that God's the coordinator of the keepers. I need to find and agree with where or who they are for the day. So, so
And that doesn't necessarily have to be a mentor, is it?
no, but I did find a specific mentor tailored to what you're after is very necessary, which I'm kind of, I guess you could say, without at the moment. Other than my wife and I do couples counseling, so there's a
Mm.
mentor for her and I in our life that radiates out into everything. So it kind of
Mm.
counts as mentorship. I also want to have her on as a guest. I got her lined up, matter of fact, because we have these
Very
deep
cool.
conversations with her too. We all feel all good and warm and fuzzy and tingly talking to each other, even in that conversation. So
Uh,
that's a mentor I have for that. My wife has the two brain business mentor for her gym, so she has a coach helping her, guiding her through her specific business needs. Mine has kind of been, like I said, kind of in free form. Other than I do AA meetings as many Monday nights as I'm free. I go to the same men's Monday night meeting. So I have
mm.
mentorship for that program. And then the rest, I watch videos specifically related and only try to listen to people talking about this stuff wherever my socials are. I
Mm.
really try to dial it into those things I want to hear. But for now,
Yeah.
my master coordinator is still God, putting all these little people in my lives. I can be
Mm.
with many different random crew members in one given day now. We have these conversations too sometimes. So I have a coordinated mentorship, I believe, from the hand of God in every single place I go, no matter where it is. That being said, it's always in the back of my mind I should have one specifically tailored to this podcast in the studio endeavor that I'm working on now.
Mm.
Because specific mentorship has always made my endeavors flourish.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah.
I just have to have a
Why do
mentor
you think
that I can tolerate being as wild and free as I really desire. I guess if that
yeah.
makes sense.
Why do you think that is that you find that you've always kind of needed a mentor or just benefited from a mentor?
I just that's been my experience. That's the truth that I've found out. I was I was raised an only child, so I love to do and am capable of being completely by myself. Like to have everything
Mm.
to myself. That's not productive. So I've learned, I guess, through spiritual mentorships of one kind or another, I gotta be able to share. I can have both though. I can have the alone space I need, but I ought to take what I learned and share it when I find another person. But
Mm.
every time like I spent the money for the mentorship, the entrepreneurship class, and I had someone every month we'd like say, what do you want to do? Okay, here's some ways you can do that. And then the next month we get back together. Did you do that? Why or why not? And what do you want to do this
Mm.
time? So having people hold you
Mm.
accountable is
Yeah.
absolutely essential. Now I have many people holding me accountable on
Mm.
the outside, and I always have God in my heart and my ear helping me stay accountable on the inside. But yeah, the mentorship for my wife's gym business, it was sink sink without the mentorship, flourish with it. No matter
Hmm.
what, it costs $200 a month, I think, to stay a part of that.
Hmm.
It pays for itself. I don't know how many fold.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I hear that.
I've just I've just found mentorship to be necessary.
Hmm. Yeah. I'm basically the same. I'm kind of in between as well right now for like the podcast. I'm not sure if I should invest into some mentorship now or if I should just wait for university to start and see how it goes.
That just
But
makes me think
yeah,
about you got to have a balance too. I mean, you got to have enough time to shoehorn it all together.
yeah,
So
yeah.
don't be too hard on yourself on whichever you choose. It's all a journey, all the same.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I woke up with that thought today. I was beating myself up a lot yesterday, and
Right,
this morning was different.
right
Mm,
on. You'll have those days, that's for sure. When I have those
yeah.
days, I can just say a prayer, say, God, this sucks. I hate feeling like this. It's coming out negative. Help me out. And I might even forget that I prayed that, but sooner or later my day starts going better. It
Yeah.
about never fails. So I always have that
Mm,
mentorship. I guess that's the armor and
mm,
the shield that you can put on is what that equates to. Because there's always going to be
mm,
resistance. There's a devil trying to make things go bad for you because he doesn't want you to fulfill God's will. The only way he can do it is he's got to convince you not to. So there's those days when he wins and you feel terrible. Maybe that's related, but you can always say, "Man, I'm feeling terrible. Things are going wrong. Help me out here."
mm,
Yeah, I'm doing the work for him, so he's very happy to help me to keep doing it. That's got to be part of it too. If you're not doing his will, then you're going to struggle too. But
mm.
that's all like indicators of whether you're doing the right thing or not. I have a quick
Right.
saying for that too. It's be rad or be sad.
That's great. Be rad or be sad.
It's funny, I
Mm.
got that one from the place that I got fired at where I was mostly miserable at. One of my coworkers that I loved hanging out with, he said that to me as a joke because I had just started my video channel. I had like one or two videos and I was all
Right.
about be rad. He's like, how you doing today? Be sad. He would always jab me like that. So
Uh,
the next thing I got in my mind was to put those two together. Oh yeah, be rad or be sad. Heck yeah. That's like my second hashtag I put on all my videos now, along with VRAD something. It's VRAD or VSAD.
Beautiful.
The videos I have from my last place, we had a TV screen behind us, and it says that the whole time. That was the
Mm.
slogan for the main video picture. So if you watch any of the other
It's rad.
videos from that time, you'll see that. But that's great. That's what's good about AA too. Like, there's a bunch of little slogans like that. It's like one of them I can
Mm.
just think of from recent memory. Expectations are future resentments. I mean, they
Hmm.
have all kinds of little sayings like this. So you'll hear that in a meeting and maybe not even think anything of it. And then you'll go about your day somewhere else. These little sayings come back to you. They help remind you where you're trying to go. Or just a
Hmm.
little helps. So it feels really cool to have one of my own. Be rad or be sad. These things just come to me. That's where I'm the artist, like with words and posters and
Mm.
alongside this electrical audio video stuff, it's a work of art also to me. I know nothing about this stuff.
Yeah.
I just learn as I go, put it together in an artistic way.
Hmm.
Maybe artist is synonymous with entrepreneur. You're just artistic with how you decide to go make a living.
Right on the money. That's literally what I'm hoping this channel kind of propels.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think it's just a mindset thing that needs to be addressed. I think we have the ability. We just need to understand that we need to, I don't even know how to put it. It's there for us to take. It's there for us to grab and to make, just as we do with all of our creative endeavors. Yeah. Brad, it's been awesome to talk to you.
Heck yeah.
I, yeah, I was not expecting this at all. And I'm so sorry for like the audio complications, but I would like to believe that that all kind of led to this as well.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no mistakes
Yeah.
in this. We can do it however we want.
Mm.
I guess the problem I'm running into with that, maybe I don't record on the platform. I just use like my phone as a video input. And then I have
Right.
two other cameras for different angle inputs.
Mm.
So, like you said, you couldn't record on Google Meet. I don't use
Mm.
Google Meet to record. I use it for a video feed. And then I
Right.
have like the really good microphones and headphones, and I have way too many things plugged in. There are way too many things. So my setup, it's great for a one-on-one personal thing. Or like if I
Right.
call my friend, he only has a phone, so he didn't run into any
Mm.
issues with my stuff. So
Yeah.
it's all okay
It's
though.
definitely
But
something to keep in mind. Yeah.
maybe I
I
wasn't.
don't know. Oh,
Sorry, what?
sorry. No, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I had the feeling maybe I shouldn't have wanted to record this show. I'm not the host. I'm the guest.
Hmm.
Maybe I shouldn't be the one recording and having to worry about that. Because I that makes the interview different too. If you're the one recording, you got to make sure everything's running, and that kind of takes your attention away a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you're a guest, you
Yeah.
should be able to talk.
Yeah. No, no, not so worry. I mean, it's especially I think because a lot of people would probably be okay with sharing the interview anyhow.
Yeah.
Like I'm more than happy to send this entire file to you and you do as you please. You know.
I'm kind of
So,
entirely okay with waiting for you to polish it up in your special way and then put it out there.
okay, yeah, your call. Your call. I can send it to you though, because you were very adamant about recording it, and you know what? I feel that. It's cool. No
That's great.
worries.
I like to go back
Yeah.
through also and take little shorts and snippets. It's one of the
Oh
secrets
yeah,
I've heard.
same.
When you do a podcast, you're doing two with one being the video with audio, or you can do audio separate, and then you got
Mm,
unlimited number of short form content.
right.
So you make sure you do a video, audio at the same time first, for however long it's going to be. You've
Mm-hmm.
done all three at the same time. So like if I get
Yeah.
a raw file from you or whatever you send me, I'll no doubt watch it. And that light bulb will come on to me when I hear something. I'm like, I want to snip that out and send that. I'll need to do that anyway so I can send people to your channel to watch this video, or maybe some of the parts of this interview, the only parts somebody's going to see is what I snipped out and put on the social or something.
Yeah.
That works good
Yeah.
too.
No,
Like
that'd be awesome.
so yeah, thank you for being willing to send me all that. I've had
Yeah, of course.
I've had that work for me too. Me and my daughter sat down. I was in between studios. I had it set up in my bedroom. I just sat down with her
Mm,
and did a little short commercial like thing with her. She was going to go do a craft fair and make crochet plushies. So the
mm,
very first video with my video switcher, I just sat down with her like, what are you going to do? Where's it going to be? What are you going to make? Where can we find out information if we want to buy some of this stuff from you? We did that whole spiel. That's on my BRAD channel. My friend Jeff,
that's okay.
like I finally made it to this new studio and I called my friend Jeff up. He watches all my
Mm,
YouTube videos too, or a lot of them. He's like, I saw that commercial that you made with Leah and you had this picture of a crocheted plushy chicken. My mother-in-law collects chickens. I have a whole shelf full of chickens right here in my
mm.
house too, because she collects them over here too. So I ordered one
Wow.
because of that video that I saw you make. I knew where to go and all this stuff. And he's like, here it is, and he shows me. I'm like, whoa, that is too cool.
Wow.
And then there was a funny part about that. He's like, yeah, I put in the order. I heard nothing from you guys, and all of a sudden it just showed up in the mail, and I still never heard nothing. He was like thinking we didn't even know who it went to. I recognized the name and
Mm,
stuff when we sent it, of course. He like had no idea we even knew we were sending it to him. That was
wow.
a whole unplanned, cool entire event that I had kind of on my very first remote podcast. So those little snippets are
Mm,
important. Might be something, it's the only thing somebody sees. It'll lead them to
yeah.
your better, broader stuff if it resonates with them, of course. But you got to
Yeah,
do
for
the work.
sure.
You got to put yourself out there for those opportunities to strike.
Mm.
I just keep getting the opportunities. They just keep striking. It's awesome.
It's radical, bruh.
It is. I must be being rad. My
Oh.
sponsee actually come on and told me what he found out the meaning of radical was. It was another aha
Uh,
for me. It was just go back to the root of something. That's what it means to be rad.
oh. Oh, that's wow.
And I didn't know that.
Wow, that's cool.
So for me, that message is go back to my earliest memory. My earliest memory was one that's just a picture of a car stereo in front of me, like maybe when I was a baby in my mom's car. Just a visual picture, still see it clear as day, stereo. Totally my sole purpose. So that would be where my root is. It's kind of a clue on what you can find, how you can find what it is you should be rad at. Go back to the
Mm.
root. Go back to what's the one thing that's always been just slightly above the rest or largely above the rest. I'm not sure. For me, I couldn't ignore it if I tried. And like I said, my mom knows very well. Just totally
Wow.
beautiful.
Yeah. Go back to your root. Wow, I
That
had
will
no
work.
idea.
You don't know what yours is?
Um, so my actual name is Mayara, but I've always gone by Maya. So I know that Maya is illusion,
Hmm.
um,
Wow.
which, yeah, I love. It feels very fitting for me.
Yeah, I love it too.
Yeah. Then my last name is Dio, or it was. I had it changed a while back. Um, but it's Dio, so it was Illusion of God, which I
Ah,
was like, bruh.
perfect.
Yeah, when I found that out, I was like, that's gorgeous. That's
That's,
gorgeous.
that's your current name?
No,
Oh,
my last name changed because I'm going through like getting my Italian citizenship and it needed to change. So my last name's now Giorno, which is day. It just went from day to Diaz to Dio. It was all just like error in spelling and writing as my family moved around.
Wow, that's very
So
cool.
I guess illusion of day now, or morning illusion.
To me, it reminds me of painting and creating art.
Mm,
You're just
how
bringing
come?
your illusion into real life.
Mm,
Just kind of
hmm.
what I thought about. Like, I guess illusion could have a negative connotation, right? Maybe.
Maybe, but
Maybe
it's
I could,
always had a great connotation for me. I've just always felt like a chameleon, and like
elusive. Is that the root of that?
maybe, maybe.
I'm notorious for picking up the wrong kind of word meanings too and using them for something else. But I just see, like, the words aside, the feeling and picture I get about you is you're taking just whatever you're seeing and you're putting it out there in the world your way,
Hmm, hmm,
like using your illusion. I
hmm.
gotta put this charger on my phone here. That's one thing I lost unplugging the rest of my stuff. It's now I need to charge. So hopefully we don't lose the dang audio or whatever. All right, still hear me good?
Yeah. Well, I need to. My my partner's cooking dinner, um, so I do need to start getting off soon. But yeah, this has been amazing. I cannot express to you what a conversation this has been for me.
Yeah, my
Thank you
pleasure.
so much. Mm.
This is why we're doing this. So keep doing
Mm.
your part
I
too.
keep wanting to do this, so I keep doing it.
That's how it should be. That's how we should live our life. We should be excited to be here and do
Uh,
something, right?
mm.
There's
Yeah.
nothing more exciting than sharing your excitement with other people who get it too.
Mm. That's beautiful. Okay, Brad, I'm gonna call it.
All right.
I would love to have you on again. Can we just have these conversations all the time?
Yes, we can. This is what I built this place for. Yep, absolutely. I'd love to, and even have
Brad,
you on my show, even whichever way
yeah,
around.
that would be awesome too.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we
I'll
could
let
shoot
you
for that.
deal with the audio stuff next time.
Yeah, we could try that next time. I'll keep doing some research to see why my setup's causing your echo, because I'm pretty sure it's my fault. You don't
Yeah,
have it
I'm
anymore.
gonna do the same. I'm gonna do the same. I need to fix this. I have like two other interviews this week. If it happens again, I'm
Yeah,
yeah,
right
it'll be
on.
fine.
Very nice to meet you and be a guest. It's
No,
all I could have hoped
thank
for,
you.
but better than I expected even.
Yeah, same. Same,
Wonderful.
bro. Same.
Right
Fantastic.
on.
Wow. Well, enjoy your, I think it's a Wednesday. Enjoy your Wednesday.
Yep.
And thank you so much. I'll send you all this stuff. Oh, do you want to leave like a little plug-in where people can find you? Um,
Sure. My YouTube channel is, you have to put all the underscores in, but it's B underscore rad underscore AT underscore something. That's the name of my channel. B rad at something.
cool.
I
Is
have
there
an
anywhere
account.
else we can follow you?
I have an account on X. It is at
X.
Brad at something. No spaces.
That's something. Cool.
That's my main ones. I have personal Instagram and personal Facebook. I've really been
Well, that's
concentrating. I'm liking X, trying to get more of this content on there. And get some
okay.
friends to follow on there. Um, but the YouTube has been like one of the channels I could see. I thought I could like make some money back doing these videos because of. But I don't really care as
Mm.
much anymore. That's where I kind of
Right.
started. I like doing the videos and the audio, so I ended up on YouTube first. I
Mm.
try not to put the same content on either social, even though that's more difficult. So if you follow me in a couple
Yeah.
different places, you might see a couple different things.
Okay.
It's just my
Cool.
wild, free, creative self has to have it that way. I can't deal with having the same video on this channel as it is on that channel at the same time. Just when
I
it
get
comes to
that.
what to deliver to you. So yeah,
Mm. And for your podcast, is it also be rad?
yeah. I have an audio version on Spotify. It's
Okay,
also be
cool.
that something, but I don't have the paid version. I'm gonna pay for it now that I'm doing these. So they all roll off after 90 days. I don't even know if it shows up
Oh, okay.
right now. So that
Cool.
reminds me of something I got to do. But that's also just BRAD as something. Yes, on Spotify.
Okay. Amazing.
Usually
Well,
find
I'll pop this on.
if I do a video, I usually put a link in the description to the audio version only on Spotify in case somebody just
Okay.
wants to listen to audio. So
Okay, cool.
yeah, but
I'm gonna pop this
BRAD
all
is
down anyhow.
okay.
Amazing.
Yes,
Thank you so much, Brad. You have been fantastic.
right on. I'm glad to hear that. And you as well. Excellent host.
Aha, thank you. Amazing. Well, have a good Wednesday. I'll get back to you soon. It was
All
so
right.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you.
Bye bye.